Antonio, Valentini, and Alessandro De Filippo are in the house. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us.
Part of a team that set out to change the world into a better place.
Definitely.
By creating an awesome
that's our dream.
Kind of thing, an awesome product that everybody should know about, I think.
It's difficult to change the world with alcohol.
But
you can.
It changes it.
People friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It does change them, that's for sure.
A better place.
Yeah.
So you guys did something really remarkable, like you did something that nobody has done before.
Well, our gin is the first one which is actually made in Rome, entirely in Rome. And it's not a distilled gin, but it's a bottled gin, which is one step before is what they made like in the 30s.
Okay.
When it was illegal to
right.
distill alcohol, and so
similar stuff.
That's the kind of product. I mean, it's a known product. We didn't create anything. We didn't invent a new kind of. But it was still something that is not very common,
especially in Rome.
Well, yeah.
So how did they? So did you literally use a bathtub to experiment, or how did you go about it? No, not really.
Obviously not.
Obviously not.
That wouldn't be really convenient or anything.
Would have been a romantic story for sure.
That would have been romantic.
Yeah, it's a funny story.
We started actually with a lot of trials at home before going to the real place to make
a lot of drink
right.
at 10 o'clock in the morning.
But obviously not in the bathtub. It was mostly with tanks at home with like 2 liters, 4 liters, stuff like that. And some of those trials were really terrible, actually.
Okay.
Until we reached the final recipe.
I read an article that was published on Vice.com that it tasted like
wet sock.
Wet socks, exactly.
Yeah. One was like that. Don't ask me why. There wasn't socks involved, but the taste was terrible.
And who was the person in charge to try the different kinds of gin?
Oh no, everyone.
Everyone.
Oh wow.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
But that's also a good point because we are like 4. It's 4 of us. So the fact that it have to be, good for each one of us.
Okay.
Which mean that if you create something that you like, a lot of other people might not like it.
Right.
When you find something that I like, he like, and that Francesco, the other guy, like, then you maybe can cover a bigger
market. Right.
Market.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Good. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we create a lot of drinks with that. We mix up with other things. We mix up with the tonic.
Okay.
Yeah. But now we have a drink list.
A drink list.
We have a bartender that is working for us, and it's our brand ambassador, Nico. And he create. I have in my bag all the list with all the name, of course, of Roman things like Colosseo and stuff like that. And it's gonna be really the next challenge to create more and more and more because it works very well with other things, but you gotta know how to mix it up.
But so how do you go about the whole process? Because I mean, it's a dream of many people. I would say mostly men, but I don't want to be sexist.
To make gin is pretty easy.
Okay.
Actually, the one we make.
And how do you make it? I do not know much about gin except for how to drink it. But you're a biologist, so your equation here is.
I studied for a lot of other reasons, but yes, that involved also making alcohol. Well, the process is actually just infusion. So basically, we don't distill. We make the bathtub, as I was saying, which is alcohol and the botanicals infused together. And then you go through a different process that have to be strictly respected, like the time, the temperature, and the filtration.
And did you know all these things before, or was it all like just trial by error?
Well, obviously we had an idea
before,
but we had to go to some tries.
Yeah, step by step.
Had any of you ever done something like that before? Like, where did you have all the... No, okay.
Not.
So you informed yourself...
something like that before.
Sure.
The past.
Actually, no.
No,
that was first alcohol adventure.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
But it's not stopped like that. I mean, we go forward. And yeah, now we have the barrel cut of the same gin. It's a really limited edition of our gin. And then we are producing right now with the Progetto Sete in Priverno. They made natural wine, so biodynamical, without any chemicals, no filter, no, And we have with them this big project to make vermouth. In 10 days it's ready.
Wow, okay.
Yes, has been
more in a month. But it's
I don't know, I haven't tried that yet.
He's the realist in the group.
But it's okay. But it's okay. It's
now it's in the barrel
process.
Yes.
Now it's in the barrel, yes.
Beautiful barrel.
That's true.
So you are 4 guys in the whole group?
Yeah.
Yes.
The other 2 unfortunately are not here because we're going to have an event tonight.
Tonight, right?
Yeah. In Santo in Trastevere.
So
where actually our brand ambassador Nico is going to make all the cocktails from the signature drink list.
So you have a biologist?
I'm a biologist.
Entrepreneur? Businessman, very important.
Emiliano is the chef. And Francesco is also a biologist. Getting there. It's almost done with his study.
Nice. Great.
But it's working on that. So.
Yeah, he's still working in the same field.
And so once we met a product like that, how do you go out and first of all convince people that it's good? And how do you get yourself a bit out there into the scene? Because I'm sure that it's a lot of competition from brands that are from outside, I suppose.
And
they have more money, they can invest more on the market.
But also, if you have a bar that's been running for 30 years, why would you change just from one day to another?
Right. The only way that you can use is let's try it.
On this, I think we're
the first one.
Lucky. Because what people want today is something good, but maybe different from what you can find everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, not a commercial.
And our product is that. I mean, we have small batches, 150 bottles per batch.
Okay.
And it's particular, it's not common, the flavor is different. You can still use it for mixology, or you can drink it on its own and it's really good, but it's something different from the crowd of products.
It's the same of the
which are good still. I mean, I'm not saying they are not good, but they're all the same.
Well, as you said, also the fact that you use Roman water. I mean, the whole idea about having a real Roman product that's not only Roman, but it's created within the walls, right?
And that was our idea to begin with.
Right.
It had to be made in Rome, not because other places outside Rome it would have been really easier to find and even to do the distilling. When instead inside Rome it's really hard to distill, but that's why we're making
part of the brand is Air Gin.
Air Gin,
Distillerie Capitoline. It's the.
I think air is a bit difficult to translate to somebody who doesn't speak Roman.
They understand if they have been around.
The gin.
Yeah, but if they have been around Rome, they want to have that gin.
Right. And you said it's a 0 kilometer. The philosophy behind it, as much as possible, of course.
Yeah, still with the same idea that we had of making it in Rome. Even the botanicals were supposed to be as close as possible, local. Obviously cannot be all locals because some of the botanicals you cannot find it in Lazio or around Rome,
or in
so
Italy
you have to go close to Tuscany for the juniper and other stuff. You have to go outside, like we use even kaffir lime leaves. And
but you use even the producers.
Obviously, because everything obviously have to be certificated.
And it's
not easy. we don't go in the field to.
No, we don't go to the supermarket to buy the stuff. So we try to.
It's all fresh ingredients.
Yes, we try to go directly to someone that is selling.
Aziende agricole. I don't know how to say it in English.
Agricultural companies.
Yes, probably.
Something
producers.
like that, I guess.
A little bit better.
The producers,
than this,
basically.
probably, because it's more.
But they obviously have to have certain kind of certification. That's obviously
biological or biodynamics or something.
And so another thing that interests me is because I just read also about because this morning I was at the IMSS, which is a experience that I recommend to everybody who wants to test their own patients.
INPS.
Exactly. So the Italian bureaucracy probably was not helpful when you tried to launch the product, or when you wanted to get the correct paperwork to actually be allowed to produce it. Because it's not that you just... The first thing is you have the idea, the enthusiasm, you get together, you do research, you find out what you have to do, then you make it kind of okay, and you make it nice, then you make it good. And then you feel like, okay, now I want to produce something and bring it out to the world. And then, exactly, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then you like, then you remember, oh, I'm in Italy.
You have a little bit of bureaucracy.
Right. How long did it take you from the moment that you were ready to get it on the street, get it into the sales channels?
Well, actually, a few months, but
a few months.
I mean,
that's quite fast.
We went out with our first batch last summer, and the first production. From the first production, we didn't sell one bottle.
But we drink a lot.
We drank a lot. Yes, that's for sure.
Right.
No, we were just going
giving out testers for people.
Okay. And so the first one was completely tried.
Now we have the small bottle.
Then from there,
test to everybody.
Nice. Because the first time we made just the big bottles. So then we were like, that's gonna be a little bit too expensive, actually. So we made the samples.
Right.
Much.
When you open, you want to finish.
Of course.
That's a problem.
Especially you, I know you. Me probably too.
With the tonic. Yeah. I mean, alcohol. In that case. It's really beautiful to have a company that produces gin for you.
Absolutely.
So, and the next step is going to be the vermouth, but everything is going to be around a famous 0 kilometers. But we're trying to make the right product for the right market, because probably one day we're going to make even the wine in the same way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's step by step. We decide even to make.
We have a lot of projects.
Yes. We have
to
but we have also a lot of works.
Right.
You work, my God.
Oh yeah.
Busy bees.
Yes, super busy.
What else are you up to at the moment? What else are you working on?
What else? What other projects?
Yes. What else? Things we can talk about, of course. If it's top secret,
We're making the vermouth with the guys from Priverno, Sete. Which actually, we knew them from before, obviously. But our idea, which we're not the first actually, but one of the few still, it was to make the vermouth with natural wine, with biodynamic wine, and try to have even there still following the original recipe for vermouth, and because over there is a right recipe that you can change obviously to what you preferred.
Yes, you can add a little bit more.
But you have to follow certain guidelines, I guess. And the idea was still to do something, natural, biodynamic. And so you have one of the first, because it's not the first, vermouth made with biodynamic wine. Because otherwise you use regular wine and there's nothing bad, but it's something different.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Other project is actually to make ratafia.
What's that?
It's a typical.
It's
ratafia.
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 How do you write that? From Latin, which is ratam fiat.
I have to Google that now. I'm gonna put this on the screen. Ratafia, like that.
Ratafia.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, let's put this on the screen. Let's see if this is visible. No, it should be visible on the screen. There we go. Okay. It's a term used for two types of sweet alcoholic beverage. Either a fruit-based beverage or a fortified wine. Okay. In Europe, served during celebration when treats were ratified. Okay, very official, very traditional. Hence the name.
Yes.
It's still a liquor infused.
Right. The liquor is typical of the Mediterranean areas of Spain, Italy, and the northeast of France. Okay.
And everything you see, ratafia is made exclusively with fresh cherries and Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. In that case, but we are using even other kind of wine, natural wines, for producing that.
Right.
So it's gonna be more really regional or.
It's gonna be interesting.
See, a lot. It's a big challenge. It's beautiful because we have many different kind of grapes in Italy.
Right, and you have to find the right vendors. But first, the right type of grapes that you want, then the right vendors who sell them to you.
Yes.
But
it's quite interesting. I was actually thinking, I mean, not selling it, but just for my own, as a hobby, to actually, because I remember my grandfather used to make his own wine when he was still alive. He was from Abruzzo.
Yeah.
And so he got the grapes, and my father and the whole family came together, and they had this old machine. Work by hands. They pressed the wine, the grapes, and then the children, the freshly pressed juice. They gave us a little bit to try, before it fermented.
We start really from the bottom.
Exactly.
Yes.
We learn drinking wine from a young age.
Yeah.
Right.
Then we're doing the gin, the same one. We are aging that in barrels, and we're making this barrel cut.
Okay.
Which is really good. Change a little bit from the original because it gets a little
takes
bit more.
a little bit of wood. It's not woody, but it's the smell out because the barrel is brand new. We will try to.
Yeah, we're working on the second round. Will be.
Yes. Sure. Think of selling them for private events like weddings or something like that for foreigners who come.
It's a nice idea what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, as you know, I'm not far away from that business myself, so I think that could be a huge thing for, especially foreigners who come here.
Yes.
I'm sure would appreciate something unique, not typical of the shelf things,
Yeah. And
that's our
you can even customize for having something like that. You can customize for the event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what we can do because we produce even the little label on top, everything.
The fat cat.
So it's easy to do it for that event, and it's gonna be something that you can take it forever for you.
Yeah,
the bottle is gonna
absolutely.
Stay. Yeah, and if you want, you can ask us for a refill.
For as long as you want.
Exactly.
Ka-ching.
You can buy a bottle, and you can have a bag to refill your bottle.
Yes, you come to us.
It's for you.
But we try even to expand.
Okay.
We don't have a big, massive production, but it's easy to do it again some other places.
Right.
So we can even work on that. We have been a call from Milan. We just have been at the Botanical
Club.
Yeah, Botanical Club. They have a lot of gin, super alcoholic. In general, they have a beautiful collection of everything. It's a beautiful bar is in Tortona. They have 3 different clubs. And they bought our gin and we made a night for them. So it was very beautiful to see people from Milan, and Milan is not Rome.
Right.
There is a little rusty things between us, but they really appreciate.
When you drink, you're old.
Everybody's friends.
That's why we make them.
Everybody's happy.
Well, I can imagine that there's I was raised in Germany, so I know very well how these things can go. But so how many batches, how long does it take you to create one batch? Because I could imagine that's one of the points with Milanese where it's like, hey, we need this yesterday.
We need 1 week to 10 days.
Okay, for one batch. And one batch was, you said?
One batch.
140 bottles.
For us, it's 150 bottles.
150, okay.
Around 150 bottles. It can be 160, it can be 100.
We don't make the 75, we make the smaller.
Okay.
And we make it 50. And we make the samples, which is 10.
It's 10, right? Yeah.
Let's say we can have a bigger production. We could have a bigger production,
right.
But other the fact that for now we don't need it.
I guess you have to grow with the investments that come from outside, because otherwise you just
if we want, we can produce like even 600 bottles.
Now we have the recipe.
Okay.
Now we have
the place and the space and everything, but we don't need 600 bottles per month.
No, we don't.
Unfortunately, we're really small.
Want to have it that. Yeah.
So,
we
also like the fact which is like 150 bottles because it's easy to check product quality. You know, it's a small batches. Better check.
Right. If something's wrong, then if you output 10,000, then
okay, that's it.
Right.
And
could be bigger production.
Sure. Especially always because possible. We don't stabilize nothing. We don't put anything that's chemical.
Right.
You know.
So you have to be very, very careful.
No flavors.
Yes.
It's just the alcohol, the botanicals, and the water of Rome. And
are you producing like in a facility that's strictly for production, or can you also sell directly where you are?
It's for production in the morning and selling in the afternoon.
Okay, so it's all, you have a place that's...
Yeah.
Oh. Yes. And so if I wanted to buy a bottle of gin, where would I go?
Well, you could go directly there, which is Liquorificio Meloni in Via dei Gerani 13.
A few steps
a
Centocelle.
Okay, nice.
Or otherwise, we have another sale in Trastevere, in Enoteca Trastevere.
Okay.
In Via della Lungaretta.
Yes.
So they have our gin, we're friends with them.
Nice.
Or if you want to drink, you can drink in Rincon, Litro, and many places in Rome. Mm-hmm. We have a specific distribution.
Okay.
France and...
Right. Well, that's how it starts. It's how it always has to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have something always special, so... You know, the reason why they appreciate the product is...
Also because the first time we came out, and as I said, we gifted all the first bottles.
Sure. Yeah.
What we were asking, it was like, play with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Create something. Give me your opinion, and you could tell.
Mix up something with our ingredients and see what you can create, cocktails or...
The different places, the different clubs. Where there are clubs which are all about the numbers, they don't care about cocktails or anything else. They just do spritz and mojito, and they're happy. And so, if you bring to them this kind of product, they're like, "Yeah, okay, it's cool, but I cannot do much."
I have no use with it for it. Yeah.
No, right.
When instead, when you find a place which is, well, it's not. It's just they don't use it because they are happy with their thousands of same kind of cocktail.
Right.
When you find a place which the bartender behind is like, you know, you can tell their eyes getting sparkling and okay, and I can do this and that with this and fantasy.
And are there any favorites that have emerged out of all these experiments that you maybe have found out that this gin in particular goes very well with something else, or?
Yeah, we found actually that it's really good for all the sours, basically. So you do gin sour or with the fits, gin fits. And since our gin is really close to the Old Tom style.
Right, Old Tom was the one during the Prohibition that...
still,
exactly.
Same idea, basically. Okay. Even the cat on the label. Have a certain connection with that,
and the Nasone,
and then so it's really good with Martinez.
Actually, see, do we have a website or something where?
Yeah, we have the website.
Maybe we can find this also here.
Distilleria Capitolina.
Let's see here.
Distillerie.
Yeah. Also, this is not Google, this is DuckDuckGo. There we go.
Well, that's Facebook. Okay, that's the website.
Let's see if you're... Oh, all right, very nice. I like it already. Okay. Who did the logo?
Yep.
Did you do it yourself, or
no?
Did you find somebody?
A friend of ours made it.
Oh, nice.
And it was inspired by the fact that obviously the logo from the Old Tom, there was this black skinny cat.
Right. Okay.
We are not skinny.
No.
We are not cat at all.
So we made it a little bit fatter.
Nice. Okay. So these are the
those are the botanicals.
Some of the botanicals.
Some of the
not all
ingredients.
of them,
but
but
we have a little secret about that also.
By the way, can you kind of copyright?
Pulcinella.
Can you put a copyright on recipes in Italy?
We did actually. We had
a patent or something.
Our recipe is registered.
Yes.
But it's not that you create like Coca-Cola, so everyone else.
Well, it's your ingredient.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. But everyone else could use it, and it's okay. We're not that jealous.
But if they do,
our idea
but
is
now you can sue them.
Pay the royalty for that.
Exactly.
If you want, we have the list over there of the cocktails.
Of the signature, but on the website you can find it actually.
All right, let's go back to the website.
Okay, one of the botanicals obviously have to be the Ginebro. The second one, in order of quantity, yes, is the carob.
Okay.
That's typical.
Carob is actually is typical from Sicily, but we are getting that in Lazio, in Sabaudia.
And
there is a huge
San Felice
production there.
Circeo.
And well, when you'll taste the gin, and we are really terrible because we didn't bring it today.
I was so looking forward to
I'm
it.
so sorry. But
When you taste it, you realize it's a little bit sweet. And the sweetness comes from.
No, it would have been dangerous today. I still plan to go for a run later. So, is that? Are we live streaming now on your?
Yes, that's what I like.
Double
stream. Well, this here's not a live stream yet, but one day I'm going to go live with this here. Maybe in a month or so.
Okay.
I want to first make sure that everything else technically is working perfectly, and then this is going to become a live. This is going to become a live show. Yeah. You don't need any filters. Come on.
And Tommy.
You don't, because you got sun.
Yes.
You always tent. Have you been abroad again?
I've been in the boat.
On a boat.
Yep.
Yes.
Drinking gin all day.
Not just during the night.
The entrepreneur.
I put on my face the gin,
there you go.
and that's what I.
Where's your boat? Civitavecchia or is it?
Anzio.
Anzio, okay, nice.
We are in the lab and in the liquor shop, and he's on the boat.
Oh, he's a businessman in the group,
Yep.
Some
I work from the boat.
Right.
It's a dirty job.
Internet, I open my computer.
Right.
Actually, we have a Borromini Study Center. We have a study center for American universities.
So what is it all about? Because you mentioned it earlier briefly. But
I mean, before I just working for my housing company. I created a housing company 14 years ago.
Right.
And still running with that. And I opened another company in the United States. And I'm going back and forth quite often.
Right.
1 month, 2 months, go there.
And where's that in the US?
In Florida. Sarasota.
Right.
Yeah. It's in front of Miami, Mexico Gulf. And so I decided that probably I need something less difficult as the housing now in Italy and in Rome, which is difficult. Yes, in Trastevere it's like a big bomb with a lot of students.
Right.
So it's kind of becoming something too much for me. I'm getting 47 this year, so.
That's why you need to be on your boat more often and drink drink some gin.
That's a gin. Yes, it's a part of the gin. And so I created with the Gusto Lab Institute that it's a specific kind of school for Americans, Illinois University and HWS University. They teach sustainability, everything about the food. Christina Bauerman is one of the teachers.
Okay.
We have Michelin stars inside that they teach how to cook, but everything around the food, photography, everything. They go on the field. So me and Pier Alberto Merli, we mix up together and we decide to create this Borromini Study Center. So we have classrooms there.
Okay.
We go to the big forum in the United States. We take somebody that want to create a study abroad experience and we create in Italy all the services that they need, from the classroom to the field trips to the housing to all the services that they may need, from the airport to the last day.
Right, pick up. Yeah. Remember that?
Yes. You remember we worked together on that. Yeah. And with the center, it's becoming something more interesting. It's more. I'm passing more to the housing system, my work, and taking care more about meetings, team building. Having a lot of people who work for you means that you gotta be on that.
Of course, yeah, on top of the whole situation.
Yes, yes, you gotta manage everything that is going around. It's not easier than to be in the housing system and stop, but it's more interesting, really, because you work with people, and it's not anymore a house.
Right, of course. And so this new project that you have there, so you're basically giving courses or offer different.
They do.
I mean, it's a study experience, so you offer.
Semester.
Okay.
We offer a semester here in Rome, but now we are doing the all year round. So they create by themselves, the university create by themselves the study abroad, and they send us people. So we go there to pre-departure meeting, making them, the cultural shock, a little softener, because it's a big cultural shock.
For some, depending where you're from, Rome can be interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, if you come from New York or a big city, it's a metropolis, so
sure,
it's okay. You can survive. If you come from Arkansas, in a small field,
sure, you need somebody to
in the middle of nowhere
to introduce you, right?
Yeah, Gainesville is the same. It's in the central part up of the Florida.
And so, are all the courses run by the universities in Rome, or are there courses also that are from externals that are not universities?
We're trying to add courses for art and architecture from people from Rome. New things. We're trying to experiment now something new.
Because something I never found here in, I mean, it's all private, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
One thing I never found.
No, sorry. Arkansas is public.
Oh, okay.
University.
Wow.
Yes.
Because one thing I never found in Rome, which we have in Germany, is something called a Volkshochschule, which is basically a school for the public. And it was like a school for the public. But basically, if you already went to school or studied, and you're a bit older, or you want to learn something different that has nothing to do with your study field, like learning tango, or you want to actually get more knowledge about something in IT. There are these facilities called Volkshochschule, where basically you find all kinds of different courses offered by different providers in one place. And I think a state, yes, and I think, well, you pay, but it's very cheap as compared to university, for example, or other places. So I suppose that the government probably subsidizes the whole thing, yes. I'm not sure what the...
No, we don't have something.
No. But it seems also like a place where you have different kinds of fields. Let me see if I find this Volkshochschule Wiki.
Volkshochschule.
Let's see in English here.
Folk
high schools. Okay.
That's cool. Danish, Dutch, Finnish, German.
Okay,
so they have it probably.
Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, are institutions for adult education that generally do not grant academic degrees, though certain courses might exist leading to that goal. They are most commonly found in Nordic countries. The content came from a Danish writer. Okay, Okay, they have them also in France.
But it's an old institution.
Well, it's just a concept basically. I'm not sure if. Yeah. Well, it's also a brand, but. It's an old tradition. Yeah. It exists for a long time. Yeah. And the idea is to give education to as many people as possible. That's why it's called Folk High School. Yeah.
The first Folk High School was established in 1844 in Rodin, Denmark.
Danish people, always ahead.
Danish people, c'è del marcio in Denmark.
Right. Features large variety of subjects, no final exams, focus on self-development. There we go. Because also great sometimes if you have, if you have extra time, or maybe you lost a job and you're in between jobs and have something to do. It's a great idea.
Improve yourself.
Yeah, it's always.
That's it.
I'm a big fan of self-improvement.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Constantly, every aspect of life, at different paces.
Try to play guitar.
Right, I remember that. I think your teacher was shit.
I'm still no, I'm shit at that. I'm not good at all.
You still got the Takamine?
Yes.
Nice.
Guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I still have it. And now somebody from the school, from the university, just give us another guitar. Beautiful guitar.
Yeah, what guitar is it?
I don't know what's the name.
Okay.
It's with no level at all. But the sound is very good. Yes.
We should pick it up again.
It's not because I say
You got a beautiful voice, I heard before.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a very deep
really deep.
timbre. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
nice.
can do like,
Very white.
hey, what are you
Sounds
guys
very
doing?
white.
Welcome everybody.
But how do you find the time? Like, how do you organize yourself then to do all these things at the same time? Also, you. I mean, you do also a lot of things at the same time.
You just don't sleep. It's easy.
Right.
No. Well, yeah. Honestly,
I mean, there are some
it's
people
not
who
that easy.
sleep only 3 hours and they're completely regenerated. I'm not sure if you have that. I don't have.
We're
I don't have
not,
that.
as you can tell from, you
I
know.
have a call from United States, from Washington. My business partner was there. At 2 o'clock in the night, I start to work
Right.
on computer. I finish at 3 o'clock and go to sleep.
Okay.
4 hours and I was fine. Okay, I don't like to sleep too
Yeah,
much.
it's pretty
How long do you sleep?
4, 5
Hours?
5 hours. Yeah, no more.
Okay, then you got the gene that
Yes, make me sleep.
Yeah.
that you don't have to regenerate. That you regenerate quite fast.
Yeah, well, I work in a medical lab,
Right.
so
You have access.
phlebotomist in
I
the
think you have-
morning, and I do the lab tests
Right.
in the afternoon. So then there is the gene, and then I'm actually co-founding a startup with another friend about still health,
About still?
like in the health field,
Okay.
which is called Light Science.
What's it
So
about?
we're trying to
That's
make
beautiful.
What's the idea behind it?
portable blood test analysis.
Okay. It's like one of these things that you
Yeah, with a drop of blood
get drop
from the
blood.
finger, you will be able to have your blood test.
In your house.
like a complete blood test, basically. Like complete in the sense that most generic
With most
things.
of the
The
analytes.
most,
Oh, that's very interesting.
Not every test, because the limit is in the chemistry, but the general blood test, glucose or thyroid or
Right.
any other kind of.
That's a great
you can
thing
do.
because it's a pain in the ass always to do that. First of all, remember to go once a year to the doctor. Then in Italy, especially, to go through the procedure.
Yeah.
But maybe also in other countries where you don't have access to a healthcare system at all, it could be a good thing. It's great.
definitely.
Yeah, we're working with telemedicine,
Right.
in the telemedicine field, which is still new right now, at least in Italy. Somewhere else. as
Can you
well.
make it so I can also get the results on my Apple Watch after I get?
Actually, well, yeah, the thing is, like, you will receive the result on the app on your
okay.
phone.
You receive directly as an email.
But you
so
still send them
have
in
it.
somewhere, or is it going to be a device that reads them, like you do it yourself at home, and then it's a device that reads it and sends it to your app?
You
or
need
to
the
send the blood?
device. You need the device,
Okay.
which it can be other. Obviously, it's born for people that have difficult to move. You know,
Okay.
to go
Right.
to the lab,
Right.
or they need periodic checks.
Yes,
But other than that,
what every day.
obviously, the idea is that you can have it at home with, like,
Right. So you mean
monthly, and with a monthly fee, or otherwise you can go to, like, the drugstore and just use it there,
that's awesome.
and you'll get the results on your app, which it might be even on the Apple Watch eventually. So,
Well, I completely buy the thing as soon as it comes out.
well, it's not ready yet, but it's
Yeah, no. Well, once
yeah, you can
once it's
sign
coming
it,
out.
like Light Science.
yeah.
.ai.
So basically, first you produce the gin, people can drink it, and afterwards you can test how your blood reacts to that.
You get a cover.
You covered the whole market. Yeah.
It's a long
You guys are taking over Rome. Like, you got all the places for the students now, also from the housing to the courses, then the distraction of it too, and
Then
then
we
also
cure them.
and then the recovery part of it. Yeah.
Oh, we
You got it
tried
all
to
planned
mix
out.
up. One time we tried to mix up because of American students use a lot of the insurance.
Okay.
They love insurance. They have insurance for everything.
Right.
So we mix up with healthy, medical lab and stuff like that, and we can combine.
Connected to the insurance. Because in the States very often actually they give them then discounts or something if they live a healthy lifestyle.
And so when they are here, we try to open a lab together where the insurance can pay us for doing what they need, like anything analysis.
Wow.
We have
a lot of projects.
Jesus.
Too many.
So when are you going to fix global warming? Do you think it exists?
Not anytime soon.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course it exists.
Look what happened now.
But it's already too late, so...
Okay, so we screwed anyway. Let's drink gin. That's okay.
That's how we're gonna fix it. Make it forgot about it.
I don't really know. Just using less plastic, using less energy. Try to doing something our best. Because I have a daughter. She's 13, so...
Right.
Well, actually, one of the idea behind the light science project, the one for the blood test, is also for like climate and everything else. To reduce it, because if you can do it at home,
right?
You don't need to
0 kilometers. That's the 0 kilometers philosophy again.
And you don't need a lot of the waste materials that you use in the lab. Basically, you reduce pollution and CO2.
Many pieces of paper, many everything.
Right.
So even from that side is to a certain degree green.
It's also great that you can do it at home, because also these DNA tests where you have to send in things, so it's creepy, with like for me, privacy is a very big thing. So I think for a lot of people, that's depends. Many people don't give a crap, they use a lot of Google products, but
that's actually the idea of what they don't say most of the time is when you do those kind of tests, you basically are sending your DNA,
a copy of yourself somewhere,
to them,
right?
Which include actually the authorization from them to use it somehow,
right?
For research or anything else. But
that's creepy.
So we're doing like the GDPR, all the stuff,
right?
Which is like the sample is yours. That's it. We're just collecting data, and then it's going to be yours.
It's the new. It's a sort of joke. There is no privacy at all.
I mean, most of these products are American, because Europe is quite restrictive on these things, I suppose.
Yes.
And I mean, in a way, the liberty to do all these things also gives the United States, for example, a big advantage in, that's why all these big companies are based there. But of course, you can you can always misuse it. Like there was this big scandal. What was the very famous one that people use a lot for the DNA test? And then they realized actually in the fine print, and then they realized that they were actually selling the data. What's the name again?
Big data.
Selling, preserve, and as a big data. I have a friend actually that is working now in San Francisco.
Right.
It moved from Italy. They call him because it was really good experience on that. And they take care about the big data. And what happened basically, it's that one of the biggest companies that do the IRS, so taxes is like INPS, and they have a lot of data, but they don't know how to use it. They don't know what to do it.
Right.
So they bought a company.
Why not?
They take care about all the big data and profiling the customer of Visa, MasterCard, Fox News, Fox.
Like they're watching TV or watching habits, or
they
profiling you.
They know. It just today is just send me a picture. It's the first day of school.
Right.
Just because the school is the new adventure that is going to do it, but it's mixing up a big company like that with all the data that they have and mixing with somebody that can use that data.
Oh yeah.
You can profiling somebody and say, you buy this, you buy that, you do this, you go there. So you have all the information to sell to you. Right. Like one shot, bam, you take it.
I think people are way too naive about privacy. That they really do not understand.
Other people,
how much
I guess, don't realize.
They don't realize. Some are lazy and don't think. They don't understand the impact.
But when instead it's like
they are distracted
and even with that
from that. To look at how is beautiful this wonderful.
It's scary, when you go either Google or Facebook,
TV, supermarket, the new Japanese restaurant. Don't take care about that.
No, but
look at here.
I think that it's scary when you go Google, Facebook, or whatever else, and you realize that all the commercial there are studied for you, and not in general. But even scarier.
Supermarket, you know that you have.
But even worse is when it comes to your clinical data. I mean,
Or
that's even worse.
Or in this case, to your tax information.
Perhaps.
That's even worse than the clinical.
That's really weird.
I guess they may be at the same level.
Because they know
somehow
what and how much you can afford, pay, what you're using.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, a friend of mine, I don't know how they do it, because cases like these have been exposed a few times, but everybody says technically it's not possible. But he bought something in a Chinese store, and then later he came home, and that thing that he bought came up on Google Ad.
Oh,
because
yes.
It's creepy. I mean, people say that there's the voice recognition kind of thing going on, but he's got an iPhone though. Like an iPhone is much more restrictive about microphone usage. But
it's not the first time that I heard stories like this. I had my experience with Italo. We're supposed to go somewhere in Napoli because I have a friend that is doing a concert over there. He invited us, and we were just talking about that. But comes to my email. On the phone, boom, Italo, book now your ticket. Maybe it's just
coincidence.
Coincidence.
It's a coincidence.
Maybe somebody is hearing, like Siri is taking your data.
I think there's a lot of creepy shit going on.
Yeah,
under the hood that we're not aware of,
Yes, of course.
Pretty sure they do somehow.
Right,
but it's okay.
That's why I changed. I tried to switch away from most Google products as much as I can. Like like the search engine you saw before is not Google, but it's DuckDuckGo, which is an alternative. DuckDuckGo. It's very good actually. They started to grow quite big. If I can, I use Apple Maps, because Apple Maps basically divides the data between your original point of departure and the destination.
Okay.
So it doesn't track where you go exactly. I'm not sure how it works, but also data when it goes to their servers. No, that's what actually happens. Is I think encrypted, and then it makes a request to get to the destination, and it kind of.
So
I couldn't explain, and as you understand, I cannot explain what's really going on because I don't know what exactly it is. I just trust it, but apparently
that's also how they take advantage of that, because we are like, I have no idea how that works.
Although Apple is, for example, is working really hard to promote that they are standing in for privacy. So if they would really do something like that, and maybe they do, but if that would come out, they would be screwed, because that's the big thing, So I doubt that they would do it at this point.
To me, sounds so. When I go to the United States, I always buy Entrepreneur. It's a sort of magazine, but it's nice. It's a magazine, but it's nice because inside you can follow a lot of entrepreneur and their story, and they tell you something. And it was nice because Jeff Bezos was on that magazine with an interview, and it was like talking with the CEO of the company. They was saying, we are selling all this stuff, but we really have 1 cent for the delivery or $1 for the delivery. It's not enough because we are growing too fast. We're having a lot of things to maintain. We're spending a lot of money to be on the market, and we buying companies for being bigger. And Jeff Bezos, they said that it's not that the point. We need to collect all the data of the people, and it's a mondial project. Like having all inside my system.
That's creepy.
It's not anymore about $1
information is power.
Delivery something.
But it's so convenient to buy on Amazon.
Never been so true.
I got a package. I got a package right there. It just arrived today. You see the smiling Amazon package. There we go.
That's the reason why. They make it easy. They make it cheap. You have it.
Amazon and Google are very good at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But now we will have, like in Fight Club, the big word of Google. Amazon.
I think I just read today that the Justice Department of the United States is now looking into Google, Facebook, Apple, and probably Amazon.
Somehow, finally.
Imagine that you have a website or whatever you have, an application, whatever.
Right.
You don't sit with the big chief of the world like Mark Zuckerberg. Why you go to Facebook and talk with them, Mr. President of the United States? People from all over the world invite him to talk with him. It's weird. It's very weird.
You think he's up to something?
Of course. asking for something. He has all the data.
No idea
us.
about
He has
that,
all the picture of
but
us.
the
His entire
data
life
is
of us since he started up with Facebook.
Right.
With Facebook, it's not. It's a sort of virus.
Facebook is really creepy.
Yeah.
Actually,
Anybody
Facebook
goes on that
started
now, but
as
everybody's
something
connected.
really,
Instagram, everything.
useful to stay in touch between colleges and universities, and then it became something out of control.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, other the fact that they could, steal your data, it's just the fact that actually you give them the right
for the privacy and
to have your data.
And you do it with a
all
smile
the
on your
pictures,
face.
all the photography,
Right.
movie that you make,
They
and
keep
then
it.
you upload on
Right.
Facebook. They're actually authorized to use.
Oh yeah, totally.
You ask him for
It's their
keeping.
property.
Yeah.
You say, please take care about that.
I mean, I'm not sure how you use Facebook. I stopped using it for private purposes. Like if something is posted and it looks private, it's not really private. It's more of a image kind of marketing thing I use for other things.
It is, yes.
Or I use it for the
I'm
businesses.
not using-
I mean,
I don't publish nothing.
It's the concept of
I use all
private,
the social
Right.
media.
Because it's gonna be private between you and me.
Ah,
Still,
yeah,
it's
right.
gonna be private
Sure.
with Facebook.
because it's on
It's
their
like,
servers.
Okay, I'm Facebook.
Minimum.
I will not share it with your friends.
Yes,
okay?
yeah.
I'll keep
Trust,
it for myself.
trust me, trust me.
Trust me.
Yeah, it is
That's
a
the
trust
point.
me. It is a trust me bullet point.
Imagine if a Chinese company bought Facebook tomorrow.
Hey, come on, that's the.
That's never gonna happen. No, it's never gonna happen.
I
But
don't know.
Chinese, they are really.
they got a whole system now, like
Probably
1984 Orwellian style, where you really have a system now, or is it already in place, or are they about to do that? That you basically get points by their big data system. If you pay your bills on time, your score is higher. If you forget to do that, your score goes lower.
Oh, yeah,
If you
That's the
cross a red
credits of
traffic
United
light,
States.
it's a credit
Works
system.
like that. Yeah.
But if your credit system is low, your point system, but it's also a politeness. So I'm not sure what exactly they're measuring, but it goes very much into your private life. And so if your score is low, you might not get credit. You might not get certain houses. You cannot maybe not.
It reminds
Yeah,
me
not
something
in
on
certain
Netflix.
neighborhoods or
Yeah.
other stuff.
When Netflix did it something.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror,
Yeah,
yes,
that's-
yeah, great
There
show.
was that episode was
I didn't like the movie that came out, the last one, but
really
the series
nice
is
and
great.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the series was really
Yeah.
nice. The movie
It was weird. I
was
didn't.
cool but weird.
It's alright.
Couple of episodes, not more than that. I'm not too much inside that. I'm
Okay.
still going on the big squares, and
And
With real people?
annoy
What?
the little kids.
I was and talk to people,
See, talk to
drinking
people,
a
yeah.
nice bottle of
Yeah,
wine,
it's okay.
and still I still want to be on the pub,
Right.
on the bar of the pub, drinking Guinness or whatever beer, talking with people.
Or gin, perhaps. Let's not forget about that.
I'm not a drinker of gin. I'm just producer.
Sorry for you.
By the way, nice to be here. It's very nice.
Well, thank you so much for coming all the way here. I know you guys are super busy, so I really, really appreciate it.
I would like next time that we go to see the place of this guy, and maybe we can improve even this wonderful happening.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, what you proposed there is very interesting.
Yes. We have
Just
that.
stay tuned and you will find out soon what we're talking about. We cannot give
Exactly.
away too much.
Yeah.
It's bad luck, but
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. He's really on
Don't
the
spoil
Hmm.
it.
Just a little.
spoiler alert.
Just a
Yeah.
little. I'm a marketing person.
Oh yeah, exactly. You're very well connected. You always have very good ideas. I like that about you. You also, what I like about you is also you're very driven. Like you always don't give 100%, but like 1,000%. You always exaggerate in a certain way, but that's the way you get results. Like you're running like
Yeah.
3-4 companies now. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not a lazy person. That's for sure.
4.
And
actually.
and
5.
so I just met you, but you also seem to be on the same
Oh, yeah.
wavelength, and that's probably what you surround yourself with too, because if you have
See,
people
which
who are always like,
you are almost like.
yeah, well, I'm getting there. I'm working on it. Self-improvement. One day I'll get there.
Just because you're younger. That's it. The spirit is not young anymore.
Well, I would say this is a good moment to round this up. Are there any other websites or social media where people should go to find out about any of your projects, about the gin, about anything else you would like people to know about?
distilleriacapitoline.it or .com.
Instagram is the same.
Instagram or Facebook, which is the same. Further project is lightscience.ai.
Okay.
For whoever is
Artificial intelligence.
Yup.
Scared me.
Creepy.
What else? What else?
yprusa.com for the study abroad. And Borromini Study Center.org.
Great.
That's for the study.
Also, always what I always say to my guests is if you have any other links that you think of later on after you leave the show, we just put them in the description of the video, because this is going to be up on YouTube, but it's also going to be then on the classical podcasts, iTunes. I think they killed iTunes now in the latest WWDC yesterday. Apple, I think they killed iTunes, so now it's just Apple Podcast, I think, in the future.
Okay.
And Spotify and all the other channels.
That's great.
So yeah.
That's great.
Well, guys,
we'll share it on our social.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you, guys.
To you.
Bye.
Bye.
Drink your gin.